Good morning, everyone, and welcome to AI in Finance Summit. I'm Stavros Zervoudakis, professor at New York University, and also leading the AI development effort at Mutual of America. I wish I could be there with you in person today, but in any case, enjoy the event. My topic today is about building AI capabilities successfully from the ground up. So let's get started. We're going to talk about the urge to keep up with technological advancements in AI and deep learning, cover approaches and necessary components in order to build or rebuild your capability, creating a sustainable and scalable pipeline, going beyond algorithms and models, and then the key with replacing artificial in AI. Let's take a look at the use case. The case of language generation, understanding, processing. Not long ago, we had models of which were trained with 8 billion parameters. They were good with language understanding, some question and answer type of cases. We're now in the middle of April 2022 when this video is being recorded. And last week, I came across an article from someone who was extremely happy with training a state-of-the-art GPT-3 model. GPT-3 has 175 billion parameters. And as soon as he finished training that, he came across the PALM model, which has 540 billion parameters. This latest state-of-the-art model is based on pathways, is better supposedly on semantic parsing, common sense reasoning, pattern recognition, general language, code completion, joke explanations, etc. So as you see, and as many of you know, high speed is the norm in AI. There's a lot of attention, research, and business applications that are being developed. GPT-4 is expected to have 100 trillion parameters. So the question is, should we pay attention? If we look at some articles the last 2 months, we see a lot of going on in material science, in healthcare type of applications, face recognition, other type of visual, computer vision, large language models, advancements in hardware in order to speed up AI training for those highly demanding in compute type of algorithms and models. We see a path to autonomous finance, data-centric AI is all over the place, machines that build other machines by themselves, and a question, will transformers take over artificial intelligence? Transformers is what GPTs and PALMs are based on. My talk today will focus on both technology and other aspects that are very important in building the AI capability. So according to Gartner, 47%, about half of the AI projects do not make it from prototype to production. About 50% actually deliver business value. So we do want to be in those 15%, right? About a year ago, Gartner stated that CFOs must invest in AI within the next few years, or their companies will be left behind. This is happening already. In August of 2021, Gartner also said that customer service will significantly increase investments in chatbots, AI, and analytics over the next 2 years. So let's look at key ingredients for success as you build or rebuild your AI capability. Your vision needs to be inclusive, to include all business areas. Strategy needs to have flexibility. Changes happen so quickly, so you need to be able to adjust. Your leadership in the AI department needs to have a lot of good experience in different areas, not only AI. Your team has to have a right attitude. Your data scientists need to have some understanding of business, good understanding of business, and be able to speak the business language. The tools that you choose are important. There are a lot of tools out there, but they need to be flexible to support your full pipeline and be able to grow with you. Data. Your data, even if it has issues, it could allow you to build solutions that generate business value. Of course, your budget is expected to increase as you build that capability. And last but not least, sponsorship from the very top. Ongoing sponsorship is so important. Sponsorship requires understanding from the senior executives of your organization about what can be done and how AI is actually implemented. So vision. Your vision should promote a data-driven decision-making business culture. So as we go through this actual transformation, we will have some resistance. People are natively not enjoying change. So adoption could be a challenge, and we need to drive that and have that part of our vision, how we're going to promote the data-driven AI-enabled decision-making capability and change the business culture. The strategy, of course, your roadmap needs to allow for early success stories. And as we said, flexibility, agility. We need to follow the book. We need to be agile, but adjust the details, because the book of agility applies for the most part. Yeah, you need to be agile, but you may need to adjust the details. With respect to your leadership, the leader needs to be strong and have multidisciplinary experience so you can build solutions, not algorithms. We have examples of initiatives that don't work when the top executive's experience was only in AI, and others that the executive did not have hands-on AI expertise. And again, things did not work out as planned. Your team needs to have members who are dedicated to certain areas, and depending on the size, they should wear many hats. They should be able to speak the business language in order to understand the process and therefore to understand the data. Tools and data, investing in a strong platform is the key to delivery and scalability. AutoML is important. It allows you for fast experimentation. However, we should plan to use AutoML for the time being for experimentation, then further tune the models in order to get better results. Our data always has issues. Our job is to harvest the data that's required to solve the business problem and address the issues. And by the way, in most cases, you're going to discover business opportunities. So in addition to harvesting data, you have to harvest requirements as well in order to be successful. Budgets, you may reach as far as your budget allows. Experimentation is necessary because we work with probabilistic based technology. So we may try an experiment, try another experiment, and then just start over. So it is expected that you're going to have some redoing of the work that you do in order to build a solution. Of course, we have many cases that a small team, even 2 or 3 people, can deliver excellent business value. AI needs to be a key priority from the top. Therefore, in order to make it a priority, you need to partner with business and technology leadership at all levels, drive value understanding and adoption. In order to do that, you need to use the proper language. So if you speak data science to a business without converting that language into value generation in their day-to-day work, you may have some challenges. We know that the algorithms learn from data, and therefore using the appropriate data of good quality and appropriate quantity is important in order to build the right algorithm that will be used in your solution. Of course, features reduction, you want to make the model as simple as possible. And going through training, testing, inference, and scoring is where you involve the end users in order to make them feel that this is part of the solution that you're developing. Active learning, as you deploy the model, it learns from the new data, is part of the equation for success. We need to deal with data drift and model drift. This happens when we have degradation in performance due to changes in the data that are not expected. Changes could take place because of seasonality, outliers that are not expected, incorrect sampling when you build a model, and other things. So continuous monitoring of your solution, features enhancement, and model retraining, something that you need to have in your to-do list. So contrary to deterministic applications where we have standard rules, you may need to retrain the model from time to time. So having automated monitoring is important. Exploratory data analysis and business process understanding, this is where we spend perhaps 80 to 90% of our time and effort, and are the critical first steps in order to make sure that the solution is usable and generates value. Machine learning operations, we have to have machine learning operations which are best practices that help us deploy and maintain machine learning models in production reliably and efficiently, that support production at scale. Moving to data operations, where we actually use the deployment of the solution in a way that it will improve data quality, in a way that it will improve adoption. As we see in this 2015 paper, machine learning code is only a small part of the whole picture in your AI capability. Moving from MLOps to AI governance, as we build models, using sample data, going through preparation, feature engineering, model training, we need to duplicate that work with real data in production to retrain the model. And then in production prediction, where we go through preparation, feature engineering, and inference model, either batch or real time, in order to provide the results. We need to be concerned about AI governance and ML operations going hand in hand. In AI for finance applications, regulatory mandates are something that requires us to pay attention to access control. Do we have access to the data? We need to train the model. Audit trails in order to answer questions, what happened, and failover plans that allows us to tell regulators what happens when things break. Let's talk about other important topics impacting your success with your AI journey: infrastructure, integration, tools, security, bias, explainability, and ethics. First of all, infrastructure. Large cloud providers, will they dominate the AI space? They already do. And with those, you have integration of many services and resources. They conduct a large part of the AI research. They have ready AI service that can be used, so you don't have to build everything from scratch. And of course, they allow for fast experimentation and expansion of compute and memory that is needed when you build larger models. The data and model security are important. There could be bias in model training. You can have attacks by adversaries. Of course, regulation and finance is important, and that goes hand in hand with explainability. So when you work with explainability, there may be decisions that you make. Simpler models such as decision trees are easier to explain to regulatory authorities, and they may have the same kind of performance as other more complex models such as deep learning. So why not go with a simple model that can do the job? Ethics is important: privacy and security, reliability and safety, fairness and inclusivity, transparency and accountability are things that you need to be concerned when you deploy your solution. Your success strategy choices depend on your specific domain. At the beginning, when you build or rebuild your capability, you need to start with cases that generate the highest possible business value. A simple model may be easy to create, built into the final solution. So why not use logistic regression or random forest, which has the same performance metrics as a complex deep learning architecture, and it's easier to explain. The evaluation metrics that you select in order to make sure that your model works well before you start the pilot are important. So choosing the right metrics is the key. Seamless rollout of an integrated solution. It's best to embed the model predictions into the same UI in order to enhance the experience of the end user and not create a new experience. In some cases, you need to develop custom applications to enable faster adoption. And depending on the use case, you may need more complex models. For chatbots, A language use case in general, GPT and Palm models need to be evaluated. For customer experience, graph neural networks need to be on the table. Of course, for regulatory domains, XAI takes center stage. Let's talk about platforms. Platforms which support the full pipeline. They support team collaboration, fast experimentation, low code, no code, AutoML, model serving and app integration are important to consider. You can complement those with other platforms which provide ready-to-use AI services. So again, you don't have to build everything from scratch. The large cloud providers have a lot of services that enable you to build models from the ground up using the common frameworks and using the AI built services that they provide. Of course, MLOps is important, so being able to manage the models at scale using containerized approaches is important as part of your toolset. With respect to governance, AI is most effective when you think about how it can help you accelerate end-to-end processes across your entire data environment. So you have to rethink about your governance. You need to put machine learning model management and responsible AI governance on top of your data governance architecture and turn that into data and AI governance. And one last thought with respect to replacing artificial. From the beginning, you need to think about who is your customer for a specific use case. What would the experience be with your AI solution? You should not think about only models and only algorithms. You should think about how you enhance the end user experience by embedding AI models into your business pipeline. So you need to replace artificial with augmented. You need to provide augmented intelligence that includes artificial intelligence. And of course, you need to think, how do you deploy and how do you make it easier for the end user in order to generate and perceive the value generation in a way that's seamless for your end users. And that is my talk for today. Thank you so much for listening. I will be online for Q&A. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the summit.